National Youth Service Corps is a scheme set up by the Nigerian government to involve Nigerian graduates in nation building and development.
Since the year 1973, the Nigerian government made it mandatory for Nigerian graduates to embark on this one-year National Youth Service Program. So the question is, how relevant is this? Do you think it is something that should be scrapped?
Welcome to the Vibe Cafe Show, the show where we give you nothing but good vibes. My name is Eric Nwanso.
And I am your girl, Rachel Isaac Rere. Guys, we need you to sit back and relax. We'll be right back after the short break.
Welcome back. It's still the show where we give you nothing but good vibes, the Vibe Cafe Show. And today on the show, we'll be talking about what is the relevance of NYSC and should it be scrapped. So, Rachel, what's your take on this, really? You know, everybody says, have different opinions. Some people say it's relevant, some people say it should be scrapped. What's your take on NYSC from your own experience of people you know?
Okay, I get that the reason for the NYSC, which is the National Youth Service Corps, I think the main idea behind it was to get Nigeria to be one and to get the youth to inculcate I don't know the word, I don't know how to put it, but it's something to do with oneness, brotherhood, integration, unity and all. But I think that over the years we have gone off that path. Because these days you see people who go to serve and then they come back and you're like, you listen to someone who just got back from service and you don't really understand if they went there, if what they went there to do was positive or negative. Like, you don't know if it's for positive gains or... So I just feel like the authorities in charge should go back to the drawing board, see where they've gone wrong. And then again, there's also the part where you see how coppers lose their lives these days. So I mean, one is not safe again. You're not even guaranteed safety by the Nigerian government or by the government, who are the people that should even ensure that you're safe in the first place. Serving. Yes, so it's just scary. That's why you see a lot of people who travel. In fact, the truth is, once you're done, once you write your final exams and you're waiting for them to come up with your names to know where you're posted to, you just start to fall sick all over again. It feels like you're about to embark on another 5 years or 4 years journey. And it shouldn't be so. This should be a time where you get to meet people, you get to learn more about our culture, it's like your first experience before the main experience. After school is the one the first experience you have of the outside world. And where it even, I'm not going to say it sucks, where it's even funny is you see a lot of people who go out for their MSc, they come back into the country and they still have to serve. And I'm like, really, these guys have seen the outside world, these guys have studied, they have all the experience, but they still make it mandatory. And in my head, I'm just like, I really don't know the purpose behind NYSC, unless they go back to what it was made for. Originally made for. Then I'm not going to say I'm indifferent. I just feel like it should be scrapped if possible, really.
I also feel like, yes, there were objectives that they were planning for this, you know, self-employment, skills for acquisition, you know, able to work in different countries with different cultures with so much diversity and learn from it. Also, life skills that you learn from. But I've also come to realize with the economy of the country and the way the country has become now, especially with security risk, a lot of people do not want to take their word or their children or themselves to these places because no one wants to go to a place where they're not sure of their own safety. So I feel like if all of that, like from the safety of serving in the other, because I understand where they are going to, because sometimes we Nigerians, we school in Lagos, for instance, you go to secondary school, university, everything in one state, and you don't get to see other parts of the country, which is not fair, because how do you understand those people? How do you understand the culture? How do you understand your country better? I feel that was the original plan for it, but now it's not going the way it should go, and also people see it as a way of cheap labor. Because, you know, thank you very much. You take people to certain companies where they get to work and you pay them little or nothing without even considering how, you know, they are coming to a new place and everything. But also, I've also realized that a lot of people that I know have gone to serve at a particular state and they find the place interesting and they stay back there and start their life there.
Okay, but those are people who are lucky to go to places that they gained from. What about people who have lost their lives? What about people who just go there and then there's nothing to show for it? I see a lot of young graduates who are fresh off the university and then they're serving and they come to after serving, they come and you're like, they have nothing to show for it. I don't see, what I would suggest is maybe after school, instead of NYSC, just get people to pick what they want to do as opposed to them wearing uniforms and going for CDS every other week. And I just think it's a total waste of time. Just not me coming at anyone or saying something or going against the country or I just feel like it's a total waste of time. Sometimes I'm indifferent and other times I'm just like, unless at the end of the day, after you're done with school, they sit you down and they say, are there places where you'd like to work that would help in moving forward in your career? Are there things that you'd love to do? Okay, what are the places? So what NYSC now does is I think the body should now write a note saying, okay, so person is off this school and would like them to come serve under your company for like a year. I think that would work.
But I also think that also will give liberty for people picking, for instance, saying, oh, I want to go and serve in Abuja. And so people will go to a particular area, live in a particular area. And so everybody will go there. But I just feel like it shouldn't be mandatory because some people feel like if you want to run for a particular office or you want to work at a certain place, you have to have NYSC. I don't think NYSC is a prerequisite for competence.
I don't. That's what I think too. That's what I think too. That's what I think too. That's what I'm saying. That fine. I understand that you should say okay, it should be there, but it should not be mandatory. I think they should do it like there's an exam where you can pick what courses or what questions or what papers or what subjects to write. I think it should be like that. So what they now do is they now bring down like they look at maybe your state of origin, from both your parents, maybe father's place, mother's place, and they now pick another place that you'd like to go. So they now make it 3. So what you now do is pick one from your choice, and from your state of choice, you now get to they now shortlist like maybe 10 companies that would go with the course that you study. Say for instance, if you study mass communication and maybe both your parents are from Lagos and then you like to go to Abuja. So they now take media houses from Lagos, now shortlist like maybe 3 media houses from Lagos, 3 media houses from Abuja, and then maybe one other media house from the West. So at the end of the day, you end up going, even if at all, just like they do in, I think with JAMB or so, when they say first choice of school, second choice, at the end of the day, you end up with something that would still work.
What you like.
Yeah, not that you see someone who would like it. At that point, you already made it impossible for that person to even study or learn anything because that person is trying to get used to learning the language, learning how the people operate, trying to abide by their rules and regulations. So it's
another
difficult.
Thing
1 year is not enough, really.
Another thing I have a problem with is that 3 weeks camp that they do and they say you can't go out, you can't do this. I'm like, these are adults who have gone to universities, they've experienced life, some of them are schooled outside, but you're telling them that, oh, they can't do this. Why not back to boarding house? I thought this is supposed to be a place where adults are supposed to make mistakes, grow from it, meet people from other walks of life.
You're at liberty to do whatever you want to do.
Within reason, as opposed to...
Yeah, so let's move away from that. We've touched security a little bit, but I think we should talk more about security. I think it's very sad that you go to school, you pay your money to go to school, it's safe for you, you have hostels and all of that. At the end of the day, the company or the government now posts you to a place to go serve, and then your life is you're not even sure if you're going to come back alive. A lot of people end up dead in these places, and then I remember when it was time for elections in Lagos, I was opportune to be on the grounds where the vice president cast his votes and then it was safe. But as we were right there, we're watching live updates and we're seeing that people were shooting sporadically, people were losing their lives, people were beaten up for coming out to vote. And there were lots of youth corpers who lost their lives.
Yes.
Some were threatened. We saw videos. I mean, I'm like, if you're doing something, that's like government, that's like the first government work you do. If your life cannot even be secure at that first posting that you get, what's the point? I might as well just say, oh, okay, there should be an option like, do you want to serve? If I want to serve, fine, for the experience. If I don't, I just go straight to saying I chose not to serve, and it shouldn't be a big deal.
I agree.
Really, there are a lot of people. I remember one time that OBO, Davido was trending for, instead of him to go to, he went to perform. And trust me, no one cared, nobody, nothing happened. He went to perform and he left. And guess what, at the end of the day, to be that he was posted to social place and he served. End of story, life goes on.
I feel like they should just not make it mandatory or see it as a way to get, because there are people who can't get jobs because they didn't go for NYSC or they don't have NYSC certificate. And I'm like, just because I have the certificate doesn't mean I can do the job better or less than somebody else. So I feel like it should be optional, like you say. If you want to go and have the experience, fine. If you don't want to, then fine. Because with all of the things that come, now it's looking like there is more disadvantages than advantages to going for NYSC. So what would be the point for, what is the catch for any young person, especially someone who's schooled abroad and seen life, comes back and to serve a country that is not, that doesn't put in mind the security of the persons that are going there.
It's people.
It's
It's
not,
really sad. It's appalling.
yeah.
Okay, so now let's talk about the allowance that you get. So I know that for the longest time it was 19,000 naira, 19.5,
Five, yes.
and now it's 30,000. So I'm thinking, I imagine that I go to spend 7 years in school, and let me not say me now. Someone goes to spend 7 years, medical students, maybe 5 years. On the average, it's about 4 years.
Yeah.
So you're going to spend 4 years in school. You come out of school, and then you now spend so much money waiting for to see where you're posted to. You now go shopping, do everything. At the end of the month, you get 30,000 naira. Now, I'm sure this 30,000 naira, not everyone gets it at the end of the day. I'm not even sure that it's in that they started giving them 30,000 naira. So it's really sad. I'm thinking, is this really worth it? I mean, if I'm going to be working every day as a graduate, a young graduate, I mean, I expect that I paid so much money over the years. The least that the government can do is give me at least 50,000 naira.
And I also think,
and you're getting 19,000 naira, and you.
The problem also is a lot of times I've spoken to people who've gone for NYSC and they say they still have to get their accommodation by themselves. They have to get the place of placement and all of that. If you are lucky enough to get a place where they will give you extra money to add to that money that you're collecting, fine. But if not, you still have to sort out a lot of things by yourself. And in my head, what's the 30,000 or whatever amount they're giving them at this point? It doesn't do anything for the person. And especially if you're leaving your comfort zone, which is Lagos, to another place.
Even if you're within your comfort zone, I still think 30,000 naira is nothing. It doesn't make any sense to me.
A lot of times, for 5 months, they don't get that money.
They don't get the money.
And then what's the point of serving a country that doesn't have you in mind, that doesn't take you into consideration?
Okay, so another thing that really pisses me off is their uniform. I don't know if I'm the only one who gets really. I'm just like, the fact that it's white, the fact that it's, I don't understand.
Is it that
the
khaki?
color,
You know they fit them. They always carry and go.
Some people who are stylish with, some people are stylish actually do justice
and all
to
of
it.
that, but it's never.
But I'm just like, I think something should be done about the uniform to start with. I think something should be done about the uniform to start with.
And then another thing, in camp, when they do all that boots camp and all of that, some people actually die. Some people collapse and everything. There's no, because I feel like before people can undergo that thing, there should be a medical test of some sort. Because you can't have people running and jogging and somebody will faint and there's no medical services to help the person. It's very important that medical tests or fitness tests should be taken before people embark on that. You know, one person will go faint or die for your camp.
Yes, no.
It's very, very important.
Because you don't even know what their medical condition is. So it's really sad.
A lot of things to put into consideration for the health and also
moving forward, as I said earlier, things that would work, and I think would work. First, you should have these guys pick or shortlist places that they would want to be posted to. So what I think is when you're almost done, when it's almost the final year, when you start expecting your name to be out, you have like a list where they say my top 3 places. So if I end up with either of the 3, I'm good to go. And I think the uniform, something should be done about the uniform. Maybe they should make it another color, maybe something better. We've tried, it's been years, let them change it. I get that it's a national color. I don't know what the idea is with the color, but I just feel like it should be something different. It will not be uniformity, everything is supposed to be. At least the adults, something should be different. Do you understand? Then maybe on days where I just feel like I'm tired. I don't want to see the color anymore. Do you understand? And then I have an issue with the money. Maybe make it 50,000 naira. Maybe make it 50,000 naira. So that way you're knowing that you are getting half of them 6 figures. Just make it 50,000 naira, not 30. What's 30,000 naira?
The problem, I have is the place of primary assignment, the POP or BPPA. I feel like people should actually be placed in places they want to work. There are people that don't like to teach. You can't send someone to go and teach kids that they
that's
don't,
what I'm saying.
you know,
That's
that
the
they
same
don't
thing I'm
like.
saying,
Like,
that
if
you
you
have
want to
like
work in
top
an
3
office,
places where you want to work, and then the short
exactly.
list.
Some people are terrible teachers. You don't want them going to teach and they're not making any impact. You know, they probably will work better in a corporate environment. Send them there. If they want to teach, let them go and teach. Just put people in places where they can actually use their skill or that knowledge they've gotten from school and from life to impact other people in that environment.
That's what I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, that's the much we can take on this sit down. Hope we've been able to do justice and help you guys feel better with the topic of today. So the next time you see our face, we're going to be out of the studio and you're going to be having fun with us. So stay tuned.
Welcome back to the show where we give you nothing but good vibe, the Vibe Cafe Show, and it's a lifestyle segment. And today on Lifestyle, we're going to be talking about promoting our culture. And we decided to do something different by stepping out of our usual spot, which is the studio, into somewhere beautiful and serene to talk about our culture. Coming back to culture, Rachel, you look take away, you know, without losing our African identity.
I am telling you. Because I mean, if I don't give them, how would they take it?
Give
right?
them, pepper them.
Okay, so as Eric said earlier, or you did not say earlier, we would be talking about promoting our culture. Because this our culture is our identity. And if you know that we've gone from when Nigeria was just another country on the map of Africa to...
the giant of Africa?
I'm telling you, the giant of Africa, yes. We have a lot of Nigerian designers doing so well on the global scene. We have a lot of people like Chimamanda Adichie, for instance. Everything she wears is African. Everything she goes from Ankara, the hair is African, light makeup. I mean, she's always promoting African and Nigerian designers. And even Beyonce too wears some of our costumes, and you see how our designers go out there and they promote us by using our fabrics to make stuff that people wear on, but international models wear on their international
even
runways,
international films now, when they're trying to represent Africa or even represent Nigeria, they incorporate our culture, from our fabrics to our designs,
even
to
our
our food, to our songs,
even our songs,
to our languages,
absolutely.
diverse culture, rich food. Our food is one thing that I really, really like. From the efori roll to the idikaikon, to the gbegiri, to the ofe nsala,
to the afang,
olubu, all of those, the
ekpankukwo,
fura, the nunu, akunu, all of that. It's beautiful, and I feel like we need to celebrate it more. And we shouldn't wait for the international community to come and celebrate it. We should celebrate ourselves first. That's why I encourage, even Jidenna is always adding, it has African fabrics. And you can find a way to make it contemporary. Because sometimes people feel like, African fabrics.
Like you did today.
Yeah, like African. Oh, thank you very much.
Urban, African touch.
People always feel like, our fabrics and our culture can be it can be a lot. But you can find a way to tone it down and make it contemporary and still wear it to anywhere.
Okay, so earlier on today, I saw a lady who was dressed in a green top, and she was wearing like a skirt that was mixed with it. Had a different fabric, like an urban fabric with the African Ankara fabric. It was really pretty, and then she had her natural hair braids, like she braided her hair, and then she didn't have makeup on. It was so beautiful. I mean, just make it a point of duty to go to work, go anywhere with a touch of African. It could be the beads, it could be the neck piece, it could be the headgear, it could be even the clothes you're wearing.
Even sandals.
And then another thing that I really liked, the movie, which is our movie that is going to represent Nollywood for the Oscars 2020, is Lionheart. And one of the things I liked about, everything I liked about the movie, yes, what Genevieve did with the movie was that from the clothes that were worn to the hair,
to the language,
to even
where
the
it's
cars,
even set in.
to even the cars.
Yeah, the cars were made in
Nigerian-made cars. It was really beautiful. I mean, if you don't promote our culture, who will not? Our identity.
We get that. Also, even Nigeria, we're having a lot of Nigerian writers, doing well. Nigerian musicians, people like Asa, people like different people. Adekunle Gold, that's one of the things I really like about Adekunle Gold. He always infuses his culture, even in his language, in his music, in his videos, even in what he wears. So it's very important that we promote and our identity as Africans and our identity especially as Nigerians is very, very important.
Put it on the global scene so they see us.
Wear
it
every day. Let it be part of who you are. Let it be a lifestyle, you know, in everything you do, from where you go to. If you are even having meetings with people, add something to it. I think there are other cultures outside of Nigeria who incorporate something about them in their culture. We should also learn to do that. And
when you're having meetings at your place, let it not be all continental dishes. Let it be
mixture.
Nigerian. Yeah, let it be more of Nigeria. Because when you go out there, they don't give you African meals for meetings.
Because they want you to
when they come here, you get to introduce them to our meals as much as possible.
Culture.
That's the only way. Not like we're forcing it down their throats. Because I know someone say, kilo day. But really, let them see. Let us be in their faces as much as possible.
Yeah.
So we're just going to sign out like this because we're feeling like a couple right now. I feel like a Nigerian couple. And this was like a pre-wedding shoot.
You can actually even go for a wedding like this.
Yes, absolutely.
They're ready to go for a wedding right now. Yeah.
So it's not all African. I still have my hair. Yeah. But then, of course, I have my Nigerian fabric. And I deliberately had these on.
It looks nice.
Thank you so much. Okay, guys, on that note, we've come to the end of the lifestyle segment for today. Up next is the vibe segment. Do not go nowhere.
Welcome back to the show where we give you nothing but good vibes. And that was an interesting lifestyle segment, you know, promoting our culture, promoting our heritage through what we wear and how we, you know, behave and do. You know, it was just very, very interesting. And moving on from that...
Wait. Before we move on to the vibe, I thought we were going to compliment how beautiful I was looking again. I know you complimented me then, but I just wanted to compliment again.
Well. You know, you always look stunning and delectable and lovely and stylish. You just as your head on this sweat. Fire, smoke. Anyways, back to our vibe segment where we'll be talking about dedication, giving your full attention and focus to something in particular. What is it to you? I mean, it's different from what it is to you and what it is to me. What do you feel? What's that one thing that you give so much attention and focus to?
The thing that will bring money. Ben,
what is the thing that will bring money?
This is my work, like the work where they do so. Okay, so I think you mentioned everything, but you forgot to add that it's only things that are important to you.
True.
Because sometimes the places where we get it wrong is, or the place where we get it wrong is when we do things that are not relevant and are not important to us. That's why at the end of the day, it's a waste of time. So dedication simply is the willingness to put time and energy into something because it is important to you.
Healthy living is very important to me. So I try as much as possible to live healthy, from workout to what I eat. So for me, it's very important. Even when I'm tired and lazy, or when there's so much temptation, you know, I actually still dedicate myself to healthy living. It's very important.
Very, very important. Me, my own is to dedicate my time to something that will bring in money, because I know that by the time they are allowed to be coming in, the happiness, I'm telling you, is dedication
is increased.
I'm telling you. Okay, guys, on that note, we've come to the end of the show. Now, do not forget that you can be a part of this conversation. I know you're not here right now. As you do watch, you will go on our social media page at Vibe Cafe Show. Comment, like, slide into the DM. Slide into Eric's DM.
Slide into Rachel's DM as well too. She doesn't mind the side DM.
No,
optional.
No, I mind. If it's not money, I ain't interested. If it's not job that will bring money, I ain't interested. Okay. And guys, my name is Rachel Isaac.
And I am Eric Wanso, and that's the much we can take on this episode of Vibe Cafe Show. See you come your way next time. Peace.